Welcome, listeners, and welcome to another installment of the Future Show here on Inspire FM. I'm your host, Amar Azam. The Future Show is a look at all things careers and education in our town. In this edition, we feature an interview with Connect4Causes, a local organisation led by the brilliant team of Aman Beg, Saif Ali, and Rahat Chaudhry. They share with us the inspiration behind this organisation and why it is so important to them to provide opportunities for young people in Luton. They have raised upwards of £15,000 in the short amount of time since their inception. Earlier this year, a group of 50 young people from Connect4Causes conquered Scafell Pike, England's highest mountain. They raised money for Discover Islam Luton to help with their work, supporting vulnerable groups all over the town. The group also ran a youth football tournament in August before a bungee jump in September for Level Trust. Later in the show, we hear from Hansa Asif and Fareh Ali, who share with us their experiences of fundraising. If you want to get involved with Connect4Causes, you can do so by following them on social media, where they have a presence on Instagram and Twitter. I want to direct my first question to you, Aman. Tell us a little bit about the founding members of Connect4Causes.
Yeah, so Connect4Causes are made up of three co-founders, myself, Aman Beg, Saif Ali, and Rahat Chaudhry. So we sort of make up Connect4Causes in terms of the organization behind it, every event that we've done so far, liaising with the different sort of companies and bodies that come together to put these events to life. We sort of direct all of that between us, talking to charities, talking to other companies where we're going to raise money, and things like that. We deal with that between ourselves. But the actual people who sort of make up Connect4Causes on a wider scale would be the participants. So that would be the 40 people who came with us on our Scafell Pike event, the other 40 boys and girls that came with us on the Bungee Jump event, the 200 people that came on our football tournament. These are the sort of people that really do make up Connect4Causes and allow all these events to really come to life, allow money and much needed funds to be raised with our partners and with the charities we work with.
Man, would you describe yourself as friends, or did you come together on a professional level, or were you friends before Connect4Causes?
Yeah, definitely. We're part of the same friendship group. I've known Saif for many years. I've met Rahat in college actually, and we actually used to. We were the three sort of Luton sixth form imams for the Friday prayer, where we sort of came together as a group, and our friendship group sort of grew from there.
Saif, where did the idea come from? Tell us about how those discussions started.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so the idea of Connect4Causes goes back all the way to 2019. Like Aman said, we were a group of friends who would hang around, at Jummah time, and we would just have different situations at the time. We would just be, they would be the topic of our discussion. I remember in 2019, there was a humanitarian crisis going on in Sudan at the time. And there were people online on Instagram, they were changing their DPs to the color blue. And we had this conversation and we thought, you know what, we want to do something more impactful than just raising awareness online. And that's where the idea of the first football tournament came about. In this football tournament, we organized an event for I think it was about 200 people, and we managed to gain a revenue of £2,000 altogether. And this was a very successful event. And straight from this event, Aman decided to volunteer for Discover Islam for the Snowdon event. In the Snowdon event, we basically got a group of 25 of us all together, and we managed to raise £12,000. Straight after this, a year on, me and Aman, we volunteered to work with Discover Islam during the COVID period. We managed to volunteer and distribute different food parcels and different clothing items to people who were impacted by COVID at the time. This inspired me to set up my own skydive event with, again, the same group of brothers that took part. So 3 events were down the line once this occurred, and about a month after the skydive event, me, Aman, and Rahat, we were sitting in Cookies and Creams, and we thought to ourselves that, we've organized 3 events all together. Why not put a label on this? Why not decide to come up with a name and organize more events more frequently? Because we've seen the demand, we've seen how many people are interested in this. Let's make this something big. And yeah, that's where the idea of Connect4Causes came about. that's where it all started, and now it's in the making.
Question for Rahat. It sounds to me it's been a fun journey so far. I recall my days at Luton Sixth Form College many years ago, and I don't think I was as productive as you boys have been. Rahat, tell us about some of the values that really brought Connect4Causes together.
So at Connect4Causes, values are like essential to how we run and how we do things. And one of the values that we believe in is opportunity. And when I say that, I mean, no matter what background you're from, no matter what part of town you're from, it doesn't matter what it is, no matter what social status you're from, everyone is equal. Everyone comes to the same events, the same get-togethers, and everyone has an equal opportunity. We also try to make events very exciting. By that, I mean, you can raise money in many ways, but if you can do it while also making it exciting, the youth are really, really going to try and get involved more. Perhaps they'll be able to raise more, whether it's with family or friends. And we're also trying to make the events really inspiring as well. So by that, I mean, if we can inspire a few young people, they can go on to inspire others, whether it's now, whether it's when they're older, and it can just carry on. And we really, really, really believe in like community work. And if the young youth are more inspiring, they can help with the community as well when they're older. And something that I really want to note as well is confidence. So these thrilling events that we do, such as skydiving, well, we've done that before, we did that previously, but we've done bungee jumping and mountain climbing. The thing about it is that a lot of people are scared of heights, and if you're scared, like we had a participant called Jad Uddin, who was really, really scared of heights. And after he did scaffold pike, he conquered that fear. And now he's telling me that he's really confident in every department of life now. So it just really helps in a real life situation. And I think when it comes to values, it all comes down to inspiration. Everything comes down under that inspiration and community. If the youth can go on to inspire the community, that's our goal done. So that's the thing we're looking for, really.
I want to pick up on some of those points with you again, because what you've described there, especially the reference to inspiration. Inspiration is such an important part of the human experience, how we go about doing things, whether we are inspired by others or whether we seek that inspiration sort of and we drive it forward in others as well. It's such an important part of what you're doing, it seems, and I want to come back to that. Let's. You've mentioned a couple of the events there, so talk me through. Start off with some of the events you've described it, because you've got quite a catalogue there. So talk us through, and because the listeners, will go into some of the detail, because I'm sure there'll be listeners that will be keen to get involved. So start from the top. Perhaps the most recent?
Sure. So, I mean, like I said earlier, before Connect4Causes, we used to frequently organize these events, but the first official Connect4Causes event, we wanted to make it something that we have done in the past before. And that's where the idea of the scaffold pike climb came. So scaffold pike, for the viewers who don't know, is England's largest mountain. I think it's like 1,000 meters tall. And this was when we decided that this is going to be the challenge. A lot of people saw this as, a very daunting thing, because climbing a mountain in a space of 7 to 8 hours, again, not only is it physically challenging, but also mentally challenging for a lot of the youth as well. So the first idea of the scaffold pike event, we received a lot of demand from the youth. A lot of people, as soon as we, released our event on social medias, our DMs were flooded completely by, again, 15, 20 years old wanting to take part. This event, it took place, I think, on the 25th of July. We stayed over at a place called Denton House. It was a one-night stay with all the brothers. I think there was about 35 of us who took part. And out of the 35, about 22 managed to reach the peak in the space of 7 hours. So yeah, that was our first event, and that was a very successful one.
And who wants to tell me about the bungee jump?
Yeah, I could do that. So with the bungee jump, me, Amar and Saif had actually never heard of a bungee jump from our own town. So we thought it was a great initiative for the youth and people would really get involved. So what we did was we organised it in a place called Bray, near Reading. And straight away, when we put it up, we were getting DMs on Instagram, and there were so many DMs, and the demand was really high, so high that we actually had to miss out some people. And altogether, we raised, I think, £6,663. And on September the 4th, we proceeded with our event, and we went in the coach. On the coach, we did certain activities like quizzes and just things that really brought everyone together. And there was youth there as well, which was great. And then when we went there, we were actually quite shocked. It was 160 feet, which we didn't think would be too high, but when we were there, it did look a lot higher. Regardless, we went on with it. It was a great experience. In fact, a lot of people said it's literally the scariest thing they've done, because what we had was some people from Scaffold Pike actually continued with us, and they actually did the bungee jump as well. But they even said, like, even though we're on top of the mountain, the bungee jump was scarier just because of the thrill and the butterflies it gives you. So, and including myself, I said this as well, and a few participants said this as well. It was literally the greatest experience they've ever had in their life, and yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Rahat. Aman,
Yep.
Tell us a little bit maybe about the football tournament you had recently. Is that right?
Yeah, football tournament. Yeah, a football tournament was held in just Stockwood Park Academy. There we had around 16 teams, but with other sort of spectators and everyone. We had around 200 people present there. It was in the space of about 4 hours, and it was an amazing environment. The atmosphere was really good. So from the get-go, as soon as we arrived there, I think me, Saif, Rahat, we got there at the same time. Rahat had to miss out on that one due to other commitments, but me and Saif got there at the same time. And the people they're waiting there like half an hour before already there was about 100 people waiting there beforehand. And the atmosphere was amazing from the get-go. A lot of teams who were having sort of healthy competition between themselves. It was a good. Each team played around a minimum of 3 matches, and then afterwards we had the knockouts and the semi-finals and the finals. Which shout out to Bowlers FC, who are probably listening as well, who won the tournament and got those medals in the end. But we had other refreshments there, snacks. A lot of what went on is on our social media as well, and it was a competitive environment, but it was a healthy environment because these youth know that this was a tournament that was raising much needed funds for charitable initiatives to help Connect4Causes carry on its mission. And because of that, the competition was there, but it was to a limit where it was healthy, and people would know that, okay, we're here for this football tournament. We really want to win this football tournament, but we need to take a step back and remember the cause we're doing for this. And once a young person does take a step back like that in a competitive environment and looks at things from on a wider scale, they meet new people, make new friends, network with other people who have had sort of different experiences to them, and they see things on a wider scale that they may not get normally at school, where they see the same people every single day, or at college where they see the same people every single day. So for them to come to a football tournament where they don't have to spend a registration fee, a huge registration fee to enter, or have to spend a night away from their family, like on a Scaffold Pike event, where they can just come for a few hours and play a bit of football with friends and raise money for charity. It was something that was really good, and something we hope to do again soon.
Listeners, you're listening to Aman Beg, Saif Ali and Rahat Chowdhury, the co-founders of Connect4Causes, the very inspirational co-founders, should I say as well. It's been a really pleasant conversation so far, and you've been hearing about the journey so far, and in particular some of the events that these young men have organized with the wider team as well. You've Aman, you mentioned there some of the causes and the charitable causes that you've represented. So talk us through Discover Islam and Level Trust most recently as well. So tell us why you chose those particular organizations.
Yeah, definitely. So Discover Islam in particular, they were the charity we worked with first on our first ever event, which was the Scaffold Pike event. Discover Islam, as Saif mentioned before, we've already had a good relationship with the charity in terms of we volunteered for them a few times throughout the first sort of COVID lockdown /year. we worked with them when they wanted to distribute food parcels and clothing items to vulnerable people who couldn't go out and get them themselves. And I previously also had been on events with Discover Islam as well. One in particular, I remember we went to Snowdon with Discover Islam. So there was really already a relationship there with Discover Islam, and we actually launched Connect4Causes. Sort of, we put it on our social media around April time, 2020 and 2021, sorry, and it was in Ramadan that we wanted to push out the first event, and we felt that as young Muslims in Luton community, we felt that because it was Ramadan, that a lot of young people would want to raise money and get involved in a cause with which represents their background, and we felt that Discover Islam was fit to do that, in a sense of, you know, the work they do, the awards they've received, and the reputation they have in our town. So yeah, we felt Discover Islam was a perfect fit for that, and we got in touch with them, and the rest is history. But in terms of level trust, again, the thing is, what we set out to do on our first year, especially on our Connect4Causes mission, is we really wanted to get involved in the local charities that are doing amazing work in town, which people our age could relate to, and level trust in the work they do, which is sort of working with families and children who are living against the poverty line, living close to the poverty line, helping them with their uniforms, or they have a uniform exchange. They were doing laptops for children who are unable to get them, so they could help them with their education and things like that. We felt, as people who had just left school and who had just left college, that is something that we could really relate to, and so could a lot of people our age relate to also. So we felt we took it on us as a responsibility that we wanted to sort of raise funds for a much needed cause in our community, which was level trust. And in the end, we managed to raise over £6,000 for them, which will be used again for the amazing work they do.
And that was covered by the local media, the local news recently as well. So congratulations to you all as well. So you mentioned the level trust, £6,000, and equally impressive, and a higher figure for Discover Islam. It was nearer
£10,000.
£10,000. Wow, alhamdulillah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, these are two great organisations in our town that do a lot of work for young people and their families, especially, as you say, those that are disadvantaged and perhaps going through tough times. We're coming up to near the end of the first half of the show, and I just wanted to ask you all about your aspirations and plans, where you'd like to see Connect4Causes in the future, because you'll have people listening that are going to feel really inspired by your, especially a description of the journey, you know, sitting there as a group of friends, Jummah time at Luton Sixth Form College, and the discussion sort of drifts towards, well, do you know what, why don't we bring this all together in some form of organization and give it a sort of a value system and a bit of shape. But also, I suppose I'll direct this question to you, Saif. Where would you like to see Connect4Causes in the future?
Sure. So Connect4Causes' vision right from the start, it's been to organize more and more events for the youth. I mean, the reason why we started is because we saw that there's a huge gap between the youth and charitable causes. The youth are playing football at play.net and different fields, but there is no link between the youth doing their daily activities like hiking, playing football, and charitable causes. So we wanted to be that link between the youth and these great causes. In our future, where we see ourselves is organizing more and more events for these youth. We see ourselves working with local charities, working with local companies, which are, again, working for the betterment of the youth. Also organizing workshops for the youth, because a lot of these events that we saw right from the get-go, the demand that we faced, a lot of people wanted to take part in it, and that told us that the youth here in town want more events, but it's as if they haven't got the opportunity. So we want to be there and influence these children, including ourselves, the youth, to not only take part in workshops where they can face people who are more influential than them, where they can meet new people, and where they can get the mentorship that they need. So that's where we see Connect4Causes organizing more and more events for the youth, working on workshops, working with local charities in the future as well.
Rahat, any thoughts about where you'd like to be with Connect4Causes in the future?
Just really build the name in the local community. Just help more. Just get the name like just more popular, and yeah, just continue inspiring really.
How would you, Amar, describe the journey so far? Because it seems to me that you've achieved so much. Do you think this would have happened if it wasn't for COVID? Would Connect4Causes still exist or would you have achieved the amazing amounts that you've done if it hadn't been for this sort of past 18 months?
I think it's safe to say that we never ever expected it to become this popular straight away. In how long has it been? 7 months probably. We've hosted 3 events. We've been featured in the local newspaper. We're on a radio show now. We never sort of expected excuse me, we never sort of expected it to gain this sort of traction. I think the COVID year did play its role in it. Like I said before, me and Saif did volunteer for Discover Islam, which in the COVID year, the work they done and the work we volunteered for did sort of, the idea was there always, as you said, sitting down in the prayer room before and after Jummah, talking about these sort of things. The idea was there, but we needed something to push us over the edge and sort of say to us, okay, guys, you've got this idea now. Make it alive now. Let's start to do it now. And I think in that COVID year, the volunteering work we done there sort of did push us over that. We sort of delivered food parcels. We volunteered at Noah as well when we saw the work that they were doing, and it really did inspire us to sort of bring Connect4Causes to life. So yeah, COVID year did sort of play its important role in that. And I think for the future, Connect4Causes, as Saif and Rahat was saying, we do plan to do lots of events and things like that, which I think we always will do. We will always connect young people to the causes that are going on in the community for sure. But the thing is with events, sometimes they're sort of spaced out. You can have 2 events in 1 month and then not have an event for another couple of months due to different factors such as weather, time, etc. So we are planning other things, as Saif said, workshops and things like that. But Connect4Causes will be something for people of all backgrounds. So whether you be a grade 9 student or a student that's probably not doing so well at school, or someone from the Muslim community or someone from another community, it will be for all types of people. We have something sort of going to be happening soon. We can't talk about it too much, but something going to happen with Raise Up Foundation at their community center, which we will invite all the youth to come and join us in, which will be out soon on our social media. So do keep an eye on that. But we do plan to sort of hold sessions, if you like, and have things and sort of exciting sort of sessions more often, more frequently, whether that be for 2 hours on one evening a week, or things like that. We do plan to take forward and again grow the name of Connect4Causes and hopefully impact as much people as we possibly can.
We're coming to the end of the first half. Listeners, you've been listening to the Future Show here on Inspire FM. Most recently, you heard there from Aman Beg, along with Saif Ali and Rahat Chaudhry, the co-founders of Connect4Causes, and they've been describing alhamdulillah, a wonderful couple of months for this organization driven by young people to do right by society and represent causes. So a question for Saif, I suppose, for anyone listening in, how can they get involved? How can they register their interest?
Very simple. Go on our Instagram and DM us whatever event that you want to take part in. If there's one particular event that you want to volunteer in, feel free to DM us. So we have had in our previous events a lot of volunteers requesting to be part in future events. If you want to take part in the event, so keep an eye out for any post that we post on social media. Other than that, if you want to be a volunteer, our DMs are always open.
I'm sorry if I butt in here. Probably worth mentioning as well that Connect for Causes is something that was organized by me, Rahat, Safe was sort of put together, but now it's been launched, and we've sort of got out. We said this to the people at our Scaffold Pike event, to the participants in our Bungee Jump event. The Connect for Causes as an initiative is in the community's hand now. So anyone who's listening, whatever you like to do, whether that be a mountain climb, whether that be a bungee jump, what you think that you would like to take part in. If we haven't already got it on our social media, do DM us and say, hi, Connect for Causes, I'd really like to do this. Can we move forward with this? And you yourself could also be on board with organizing that event, which will help your experience and gain many skills in that sector as well. So yeah, Connect for Causes is not only the three people you're listening to on this show, is in the hands of the community. So whenever you feel like coming forward, please do come forward, and hopefully we can get something organized.
I want to thank you, Aman, Saif, and Rahat. Listeners, do join us again after the break, where we continue our conversation with Connect for Causes. Listeners, welcome back to the second half of this show on Inspire FM. I'm your host, Amar Azam. We're once again joined by Connect for Causes, a wonderful organization based in Luton, run by local young people who have done an incredible amount for local causes, running events, especially over the past 7 months or so, for charitable organizations. And we've been having a wonderful conversation so far with Aman Beg, Saif Ali, and Raj Chaudhry, the co-founders of Connect for Causes. I'm going to bring in Hansa Asif and Faria Ali, who two of the participants at their most recent event, the Bungee Jump as well. So I want to direct my first question to you, Hansa. What was the experience like of, well, I suppose before then, why are you involved in Connect for Causes? Describe what your involvement is.
I think it's really great for young people to, have an active voice in their community and, do things for a good cause. And then, we also get to come together and have take part in activities. So my brother, he attended the Scaffold Pike event, so that was a brothers only. And he really enjoyed it. And then when he came back and he was telling us it was so much fun, it was so great, then I was like, oh, I wish I could, do something like that. But of course it was brothers only, I wasn't going to turn up. So then when I heard they were doing a sisters event too, which was the bungee jump, I was all for it. I was ready straight away. Me, my sister and my brother, we all registered, and yeah, we were just happy to be doing something for a good cause, and then also have a day out where we can enjoy ourselves with people in our age group who's similar to us.
And Faria, same question for you. Why are you involved in Connect for Causes?
Yeah, so I think there's no other organization in Luton that offers opportunities like this to young people. So when I saw the Instagram, which had the first event, which was a Scaffold Pike trek, I saw how successful that was, and I knew it was something I wanted to be a part of. Obviously, yeah, that was brothers only. So then when they released the Bungee Jump, which was available for sisters, it's definitely something that interests me. So I decided to sign up straight away to take part, because I thought it was a good way to be an active part of the community as well as be involved in charity work.
Some people, Faria, would say jumping 160 feet with a rope holding your legs is probably, you could be doing charitable work in other ways. But how would you describe that experience, Faria?
Yeah, it was definitely once in a lifetime. Me personally, I'm quite a thrill seeker, so I really enjoy activities like that. And like I said, nothing in Luton offers opportunities like that for people, like specifically for Muslims and for our age group. So I took part, and actually on the day, so Aman, who's one of the co-founders of Connect for Causes, he approached me on the day because they had a second slot for a second jump, and they offered it to me because my fundraising page reached a significant number, alhamdulillah. So I actually took it, and I jumped twice back to back, and it was definitely, it's something I do again. It was a once in a lifetime experience.
How much did you raise?
I'm pretty sure by the day it hit £620.
Alhamdulillah. That's amazing. And of course, that was for Level Trust, a wonderful.
Yeah, level trust. Yeah.
Sorry, Azam, Amar, so just to put into context, our minimum target was £150. So she sort of quadrupled it.
Are really high there. Hansa, a question for you about the bungee jump as well. How was the experience? Because I've been approached in the past, and yeah, I know I'm not going to consider anything like that. But it was 40 of you that did it. How would you describe that experience?
It was amazing. I never thought I'd do something like that. I'm genuinely quite a shy person. I wouldn't. I'm not like Fario, who is quite a thrill seeker. I'm quite nervous. So for me to do that was undescribable. I can't believe I did it, and it was such a good experience. I was telling Saif and Amar, next time we have to do a skydive.
Oh wow, that's sounds even more incredible as well. Is something like that on the cards, Aman?
Amar, you're making me give too much away. Right now, the weather isn't great, so I don't think it's something that we could do soon. But maybe next year. I'll leave it at that. Maybe next year.
We've definitely got things in the works, and we are planning very hard. So yeah, let's see what happens.
It's Saif, Aman, you described before the break about mobilizing youth, but some people would argue you guys are youth. So you made me feel really old when you spoke about representing the youth as well. But what's come across to me, and I'm sure the listeners would agree, is that you've got a real sense of responsibility, and your commitment towards representing the town and perhaps those less advantaged in the town as well. Hansa, question for you then about how does it make you feel that you are doing such a positive thing and inspiring others by doing these acts for charitable causes?
Alhamdulillah, it is a very rewarding feeling, because to know that so many of us there went together, and yeah, we had a good time, but we raised so much money we could change people's lives. We're providing them with uniform, food for their 3 meals. It is nice to know that we've done that. It's when you donate it, it is obviously, of course, that is lovely too, donating, and that's great, and we should do that. But then when you've gone out of your way, you've spent a whole day doing an activity, you're encouraging your family and friends to to support you, to come behind you, knowing that you're doing this not just to have fun and go out with your friends, but because you're gonna put food on someone's plate. It is an amazing feeling, alhamdulillah.
Same question for you, Faria, about I suppose those inequalities. I mean, you guys are still at university at the moment as well. You've got so many other things going on, but surely you must walk away from an experience like that feeling so almost inspired by everyone around you.
Yeah, I walked away from it thinking this is one of the best things I've done in my life so far. I think it's the idea of all these young people. We could have come together to do anything, but we all came together for the sake of Allah to do a good deed. And like Hansa was saying, it's donating is one thing, but then actually going out of your way and doing something to put the money to use, and then knowing that it's going to such a good cause like Level Trust, it's really rewarding.
Hansa, a question. What would you say, a message for sisters listening into to this interview and this discussion? What sort of words of encouragement would you have for them to get involved in Connect4Causes or other charitable initiatives?
Use these opportunities to your advantage. Guys, we don't have, us girls, we don't have many things like this for us to do in Luton, especially, and like Faria said, generally for young people, this isn't something that comes up a lot. So now that Aman, Saif and Rahat, they've presented this with this opportunity, we need to use it to our advantage. You do so much good for your community and for other people in need, and then also just enjoy yourself. You meet amazing sisters. I made so many friends that day, girls I've never spoken to before, but they were lovely Muslim girls, similar to my age. So there's so many benefits. It's not a con. There's no negatives to signing up. It's only ever going to be a good time, and then alhamdulillah you get rewarded too. So yeah, definitely use these opportunities.
Aman, I suppose having the sisters involved for the most recent event, they bring with them their own sort of different energy as well. They're usually a lot more organized. They're usually a lot more driven than brothers, I find as well. Was that your experience? They added a different dimension to things. You've described there you've had the biggest fundraiser. We've got the biggest fundraiser on the call as well. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely. We had two minibuses go there. So us guys were sort of part of one minibus, and the other one we had Auntie Gulsima, who was leading the girls group. But when we got there and we saw the crane and the bungee and people jumping off 160 feet, the guys were there, and we were sort of some had their masculinity come out where, yeah, I could do this, things like that. But the girls were just standing there and they weren't showing much emotion or anything. But then when it got to actually jumping off, it was the guys who were taking a long time to jump off, and the girls were screaming and jumping. So they definitely did bring a sort of different energy and a different vibe to the event, which hopefully continues in the future. And as you were saying, our biggest fundraiser was Faria, who was on this call, and she was rewarded with an extra jump. Although a lot of people might not see that as a reward, but yeah, she was a highest fundraiser, and the sisters in general, they as a group, they did, embarrassingly, I'm saying, but they did raise more than we did. As a group compared to the brothers. So definitely in the future, we're going to be hosting much more events with the sisters, and a lot more where other sisters could get involved.
If the sisters are a competitive bunch, I find I've been involved in quite a bit of charitable work, over the years, and that never changes. They tend to be a lot more driven. Safe.
Right.
Sorry, Rad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. And what I found quite interesting was after Scaffold Pike, which we made only brothers, we were getting a lot of DMs from girls on the Connect4Causes pages saying when her sister's going to be involved, etc., etc. And like even in person, we were getting that a lot. So when the bungee jump page was made, the post was made, most of the DMs at first were from girls. And like Aman said, Faria was a top raiser, but it wasn't just her. All the girls hit their target straight away. We didn't need to push them that much as well. So it just shows that they bring really good energy in as well. And of course, like in this community, we want to involve our sisters as well. So it was great having them, and inshallah, we can include them in future events as well.
Yeah, definitely, Amar. I'd like to mention as well. Although it was a brothers and sisters event, it was sort of separated in a way that we had a separate female lead that led the females, and ourselves were leading the males. They were sort of separate to us from on the event. Although we were there as a team and everything, we saw the brothers went first. We done our jumps, and then the sisters done theirs after. So in terms of sort of anyone was thinking, oh, like I don't want to go there and do something like that in front of boys. I know we had a few sisters that were saying that they don't really want to jump in front of the boys, which is understandable. But if there's anyone sort of listening that's thinking that it was, completely sort of separated, although we had communication between the two teams, you could see it as yourself as the sisters had their own little community going on, and we had our own little community going on. And although we were wearing the same color t-shirts, but the girls, they had their own energy, and we had our own energy, and the girls were sort of, inspiring us to have more energy on that day. But yeah, for anyone listening, it's not anything that you have to think that, it's not something that I can get involved in. It's something that anyone can get involved in.
Thank you, Aman. Final question, I suppose, for you first, Hamza. Where would you like to? What would you like your involvement to be with Connect4Causes in the future?
Well, firstly, I'm definitely signing up to all the events. All of these thrill-seeking, I might become like Faria now. And I, like I said before, I just really want to encourage more of the sisters in Luton to take part, participate, so we can come together and raise money. And like Aman said, it was respectful at all times. If anyone is hesitant because, of obvious reasons, then, there's no need to be. It's very respectful, and it's just that, like, raising money and then also having a good time. So, my involvement would be signing up to all the events, raising money, and inshallah increasing the support that Connect4Causes has, because it is such an amazing charity. And the fact that 3 young boys have come together and they've started this up at such a young age, it's a huge accomplishment. And as their fellow Lutonians, we should be supporting them as much as possible.
Alhamdulillah. And final question, Faria, your own involvement in Connect4Causes. It sounds like you've been really enthused by the experience. So, just very briefly, where would you like to be involved in the organisation? In future events.
Yeah, the fundraising aspect was a part that I really enjoyed. So inshallah, participating in the future events and raising even more money and exceeding limits and things like that. And even so if a sister were to see the organization, they might feel intimidated by the fact that all of the founders are brothers. So even helping organizing events and things like that, just to encourage more sisters to get involved in things like this, because I definitely think as a community and within the youth, Luton needs something like this for girls as well as boys. So I'd love to further my involvement in Connect4Causes, helping organizing and also just participating and showing support to all the events that they have in the future.
I want to take this opportunity to thank Hansa Asif and Farah Ali who came on to describe the experiences, as well as Aman Beg and Rahat Chowdhury. Aman, since we've spoken, Connect4Causes have been involved in yet another initiative, the Young Leaders Workshop that took place during half term in partnership with Luton Food Bank, Raise Up, Inspire FM, and of course Connect4Causes. So you had, I think, 5 team members down on the day, including yourselves. Why did you get involved?
Yeah, so the workshop is probably, I think that was the first time Connect4Causes officially got involved in a workshop. It was a great day. So we were there from sort of the morning on till early afternoon. We had a few sessions there, lunch, everything with the young people there. And for us, when we decided to do it, it was just about for example, in our other events, we base our whole thing, our values we previously talked about, around the sort of theme of inspiring people. And we felt that although in our other events we inspire and have involved people of our own great age group, 16 plus, those age groups, we thought it would be a good opportunity to get involved with and inspire the younger generation. I think the age group was around 11 to 15 years old. So for Connect4Causes, it was just about inspiring that younger generation, getting the best version out of the younger generation, boosting their confidence. We've done loads of sessions on employability skills, teamwork skills, communication, all of these sort of soft skills we had, and which are sort of crucial in later in your life. We felt that if this opportunity has come to us, and we took it upon us as a responsibility to get involved and inspire those young people.
Inspire FM and working in partnership with Luton Food Bank, very much listeners, I delivered that session, but in part, working with the brilliant young people of Connect4Causes. And Aman, I think what I took away from the day was very much that seeing the youngsters, if you can say that, the 11 to 15-year-olds really connect with those other young people of Connect4Causes. They identified with them. They was really they were facilitating those tables, and you had, I think, a couple of your university students down on the day, and really it was fun, it was energetic, but I think it was enabled, as you say, these young people to develop themselves by being involved in something like this as well. How did you feel coming away from that?
Yeah, as you said, Omar, me previously, being in that age group as well when I was younger, I've been involved in workshops as well, where I was on the receiving end of it. And the workshops that we were pitched were were mainly run by the older generation, so people maybe in the mid-30s and above. And back then it was like, for us, this is boring, why is this guy talking to me, all that sort of stuff. So we felt that, because although we're 19, 18, 20, around that age group, and these guys are 11 to 15, we felt that we had a different connection to them than the older age group would, because naturally we experience things that they have experienced as well, that the older age group may not. We relate to them on a different level. And coming away from that event, coming away from the workshop, we felt that, well, I felt personally that I did connect to those young people, and we established a sort of relationship. I mean, at the beginning of it, they were quite non-responsive, but after a few icebreakers and a few sessions, they really started to engage with us. And from what we took away from that is, when young people of that age group, 11 to 15, have these sort of workshops, I think the best thing is if it's facilitated by someone that's just not much more older than them, a little bit older than them, as we were, 18 to 19 to 20, around that age group. I feel that they related to us differently than they would have to the older generation.
And importantly as well, this was a development opportunity for your team members as well. And as I explained at the time, this is something that would go on their CVs, the fact that they were able to get involved in facilitating workshops, and that of course is a really important part of your development as well, and that of your team.
Yeah. Most definitely. We felt, so the 4 people, there's 5 of us all together, including myself. The 4 other volunteers we had from Connect4Causes, this was actually their first time doing something like this, facilitating a workshop with young people. And I asked them, and a couple of them, they were ready straight away, but the other couple needed a bit more convincing. But I knew that, they had it in them. They had, obviously, I knew them as people beforehand. So I knew they had the skills to be able to facilitate something. They just needed a push to do it. And on the day, I'm sure you can agree, Amr, they were fantastic.
No, alhamdulillah, they were, and it's I always say with any initiatives I'm involved in that I would very much like to create something and be a part of something which I wasn't involved in myself. Growing up, in Bury Park, we didn't have these kinds of opportunities, and I felt, and I'm sure many people listening in will agree with me that perhaps hampered me a little when it came to the world of work. I didn't have maybe didn't quite have that confidence when it came to meeting new people and being in those new environments. And sometimes that could be the difference between getting a job or getting on with someone in the world of work. And I was really pleased to see the day, and inshallah we'll no doubt be speaking again about hosting one in the future. Just going back, we're coming to the end of the show. We've only got a few minutes left, but I just want you to it's been a while since we recorded that segment, but have you had a chance to think about your future projects at Connect4Causes? Anything more you can share with us?
Coming back from the workshop, I think discussions we've had with yourself is definitely something we're going to start doing more often, start getting involved in. Although Connect4Causes may not entirely facilitate a workshop alone, working with yourself, Aspire FM, Raise Up Foundation, I think in the future definitely, because of the how the youth engaged in that workshop, I think is something that we can definitely take forward in the future and do again. So yeah, workshops is something we're going to add to the list, so keep an eye out for that. But in terms of other events and things like that, although it's the winter period now, and things are getting the weather's getting a bit bad, it's starting to get dark early, so we are thinking of some indoor activities we could do. Right now there are talks involved with sort of different exciting things, but as you must know, those talks can fail as well. So I don't want to give something away and then everyone's looking on the Connect4Causes Instagram and Twitter and it never comes up. But For sure, definitely in the next 2 weeks, I can say. So this show is going to be live on the 4th of November. Within 2 weeks, you have my word, something will be on the Connect4Causes page, and we'll definitely get something up for everyone to get involved in.
Okay, alhamdulillah. And just a reminder, if you're listening in, and you've heard the team from Connect4Causes speak about the opportunities that do exist for young people in the town to really be a part of something special and develop themselves. You know, you're on social media. You're on Instagram and Twitter. Is that right, Aman?
Yeah, definitely. To Instagram and Twitter. We're thinking of other social media platforms as well, but at the moment, Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, just heading into the last minute then, last minute or so, just your reflections upon the past almost, it's been sort of 7-8 months really since your inception, but your own personal reflections on the progress that Connect4Causes have made.
Alhamdulillah, I feel like the progress has been exceptional. I mean, it's nothing we ever expected. I mean, the reaction we've got from everyone, from the community, how supportive the community has been as a whole, has just been amazing. I mean, you know, going on Luton News, coming on to Inspire FM now, the amount of money we've raised. I mean, we raised over £15,000. That £15,000 hasn't only came from just the participants, as came from the families of the participants, the friends of the participants. A lot of people that are probably listening to this now have probably donated towards our causes, and you know, at the end of the day, these events and these workshops, they're beneficial. They gain skills for these young people. The events, you know, we have a lot of fun. But on these events, we need to remember the sole purpose of it is to raise funds for much needed causes in our community. And it is the community that has been supporting us in the last 7 months. And I'm sure that the community will continue to do so. So yeah, you know, in a nutshell, the progress has just been amazing, and we look forward to the future.
And finally, I suppose we just need to acknowledge your team members as well. You've got an amazing team around you, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. So at the moment, it's just me, Rahat, Saif. We're, you know, the co-founders of Connect4Causes, but the team as a whole is made up of all the volunteers, all our participants, not only the people on this call, but the people who've been involved in our scaffold pike event, the people involved in the workshop, the bungee jump, the football tournament, all these people that have been involved with Connect4Causes and supported. As a whole, they make up Connect4Causes, and in the future, we look forward to welcoming a lot more people.
And no doubt you'll be joining us again on the future show in the future to share your progress.
Okay, for sure, definitely. We look forward to putting another date in straight after this call.
Thank you, Aman. Listeners, we look forward to being with you again in the future.